There's 3 reasons why you're burnt out, and I've got 4 ways for you to manage it better. First, it's important to understand what burnout is and what are the symptoms of burnout. Keep track of how many of these 12 items you answer yes to. 1, you have a negative outlook on work and life. 2, you often respond to serious situations with sarcasm. 3, you lack trust not only in others, but also in yourself. 4, you feel disconnected from your surroundings, including your work, colleagues, and even your personal relationships. 5, you've lost motivation. You notice a sudden or even a gradual decline in your enthusiasm and drive that you once had. 6, you have unexplained physical symptoms like headaches, stomach issues, physical ailments without a clear medical cause. 7, your productivity has decreased and you're struggling to complete tasks that were once easy. 8, you have memory problems, brain fog, difficulty remembering important dates. 9, you feel emotionally exhausted and drained, and you're unable to cope with even small stressors, which often results in a lack of patience or increased irritability. 10, you've been isolating and withdrawing yourself from social interactions and preferring to be alone, even if you were previously social and outgoing. 11, you've been neglecting your self-care routine and skipping meals, neglecting your personal hygiene, and having difficulty finding activities that bring you joy. 12, your sleep is disturbed. You're having trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or you're having non-restorative sleep that leads to chronic fatigue. And you might be over-relying on sleep aids or doom scrolling before bed until your eyes are burning out of their sockets. So how many did you get? I know all of these things sound like something else could be going on, but if there's a combination of 6 or more, you might be experiencing burnout. And ask yourself, how long have I been this way? That part can be very telling because you might have felt this way your whole life, which indicates a dysregulated nervous system. And a dysregulated nervous system could be your normal way of living. And a dysregulated nervous system happens when you've been in the fight or flight response. And staying in the fight and flight response for too long wears out your nervous system. You're excreting too much cortisol, too much adrenaline. The nervous system's going to start to shut down and put itself into the freeze. And so now you've heard me, more or less, talk about the 3 reasons why you are in nervous system dysregulation, aka burnout. The fight, the flight, the freeze is the burnout. And there's one other one that's in there that's contributing to this overwhelm. When we look at what is happening behaviorally, emotionally, symptomatically in the fight response, we see irritability, controlling behaviors, feeling threatened, being aggressive, being demanding, withholding, having poor emotional regulation, demeaning others, being critical, complaining, argumentative. When we're in the flight response, we might be working way too much, calling ourselves a workaholic, being a perfectionist, rushing around all the time, unable to sit still, engaging in escapism, avoidance, overthinking to avoid feeling, risk-taking, including self-medicating. The other response you might have gone into, which is very common for a lot of people that I work with, is the fawn response. That is the people-pleasing, not having any boundaries, going along with the crowd, deferring decisions to other people, denying your feelings, denying your own needs, being a caretaker. Now, you'll see all these things come up in this trauma responses wheel. This is what you've been doing, and you've been doing it like it's a normal way to live. But you know that's no way to live. We're not meant to live in these states forever. And when the nervous system really gives up, it'll send you into the freeze. That is what the burnout feels like. That is what a real dysregulated nervous system feels like that has shut down. Your nervous system is forcing the parasympathetic response of rest and digest that it needs to heal. you from the burnout. And it lies you flat on your back and in bed for days, weeks, months, years. You enter something called functional freeze. You're just doing the bare minimum to get by. You're no longer fighting or fawning, busying around. You're doing the bare minimum it requires to get through each day. Once you've reached the freeze response, though, this is the perfect time to slow down on purpose and implement these 4 skills as a way to not only get you out of the functional freeze, out of burnout, and into a healthier state of well-being, but it's also going to prevent you from another burnout happening again in the future, or allowing you to catch it before it lays you up in bed for months, weeks, and years. Number 1, practicing mindfulness. There have been many studies done on the practice of mindfulness and its effectiveness in reducing stress. Number 2, changing limiting beliefs. The way you think impacts the way you feel. If you think differently, then you might feel better. Number 3, having healthy boundaries. Remember that fawning, people-pleasing way of being without any boundaries, stressing you out, not having any time for yourself? Now is a good time to learn how to set boundaries for yourself to mitigate the stress that you're experiencing in your life. And 4, self-compassion. Learning how to give yourself love, care, support like you would your best friend.